So up next we have another games you didn't think we'd play, and on this particular episode I am actually turning this conversation over to Alex because he played a game that is it's become pretty popular right now, but it's not necessarily one you knew that he played. So Alex, Lost Ark.
So, Lost Ark. So, this is one of those weird cases where it's a game you see advertised on Facebook
Yeah.
and everywhere else a lot.
Ah,
I'm sure you saw right up until launch, and still it's being heavily advertised.
it's when I went on Steam the other day, it's like Lost Ark is here.
Right.
It's just everywhere.
So, Lost Ark is a free-to-play MMORPG title.
I've heard of these.
And so I think the biggest drive is that it's free.
Yep.
So that is huge. The gameplay, all the videos and everything, it looks nice. It looks really nice. So I want to ask you really quick. You've seen the game being advertised and pushed and everything else, but you have not played it or seen it played.
No.
What's your first impression of it?
It looks a little bit like a Final Fantasy in some ways. Like the initial impression, or what was the one that just came out? Was it New World? I want to say.
Yeah, New World's already dead.
Yeah, New World's already dead. The impression I got right up at the front was that this is probably going to be similar to like World of Warcraft, but it is definitely a different style that they're presenting to people. But I could see that if it's being free, the idea that you might see a lot of transition over from like a subscription model that they had with like a WoW or something like that. But
so here's the thing with like free to play is that it's usually free to play, but usually there's something else in the way. In this case, I have been playing Lost Ark and will continue probably for a while. It's actually a game I've been enjoying a bit, a fair amount. I put 80 hours in so far, so I'm enjoying it enough to keep playing it.
that's a bit.
And I mentioned to one of my friends who was playing it on the same realm as me, or same server or whatever, is that it scratches several game itches that I've got really well. And so I'm going to keep playing it because of that. So free to play usually has a thing where either it's going to have a lot of pay to win,
Yep.
or it's going to have a lot of time gates.
Mm.
In the instance of Lost Ark, it does have a lot of both.
Okay.
But you can play, if you don't engage with those systems, it's fine. Of course, it'll make some processes a little bit slower for you because, you're not paying. There doesn't seem to be any sort of like level boost that you can pay for, or like gaining experience faster, so it's not that type of pay to win.
All right.
Which is nice, but there are a lot of in-game items and different currencies. There are far too many currencies that you can exchange into other currencies and pay for to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of in-game shop items.
Okay.
So that is one thing to be wary of if you're not familiar with free-to-play or pay-to-win type games, or if you are someone who is prone to spending money on those systems. I would advise you stay away from Lost Ark.
If you have a whale mentality around these.
Yes. It's
Careful.
definitely got a lot there for the whales and the people that will drop money on the game. And since it is a free-to-play game, there are a lot of people who will be okay with spending money here and there on it because they're not required to.
Sure.
But on that case, that's how those games make a lot of money. Free-to-play games generally make more money than subscription titles if they're done well.
Fortnite makes more money than like some countries. And to be fair, none of those are like pay to win mechanics. They are all cosmetic.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things. There's a lot of cosmetics and mounts and pets and things like that too. Again, if you are a person who will engage with those systems, I would say be wary. That out of the way, I don't think it's incredibly predatory, which is good. I wouldn't continue playing it. It doesn't shove it in your face a lot, really. At least not right now. But as far as why I enjoy it, I'm sure you want to know why I've been playing for 80 hours.
If you're playing anything for 80 hours, there's got to be something going on with
Okay.
it that works.
So, right out the gate,
okay.
The game is actually gorgeous. Like, it looks amazing.
Good. It looked
good. It does. It looks just as amazing when you're playing it. It is a Eastern style free-to-play MMO. Like, it's, I think, from... It actually released 2 years ago.
Wasn't it a Korean-based RPG?
I think it's probably Korean. There's a lot of Korean MMORPGs.
Yeah.
So it is a game that has been released. It's been out for 2 years. But it's breaking into the North American and non-Asian market, I guess.
Yeah, the Western market, yeah.
The Western market.
Yeah.
So the game is stunning. It looks gorgeous.
Ooh.
And there are, not as many classes, but there are a bunch of subclasses for some of them. So I've made 4 characters. So there's there's a warrior, a mage, a male or female martial artist. You don't pick a gender, you pick male martial artist or female martial artist. I don't know if they're any different playstyle wise, but they're their own classes. Then there's a male gunslinger sort, a female gunslinger sort, and a demon hunter type deal.
Oh, okay.
So for instance, the character I just made that I've been playing right now is a demon hunter, and you have that as your class, and you pick a subclass, which specialization A or B you want to go into. So for the sorceress, you have bard, for the mage, you have bard or sorceress, and martial artist has 3 ones. So you kind of have a bunch of options, which is nice. The game is right out the gate very linear for a while.
All right.
There's a lot of exploration you can do, but up until level 40 is right when the entire game world opens up. You're kind of going an extended tutorial for the 40 levels.
Okay.
So it's basically to follow the linear story with a lot of side quests and moving from point A all the way to B. It's not bad because there is a lot of exploration you can do. There is a lot of exploration and hidden content and secret areas you can do.
Okay.
Which is nice. It might be overwhelmingly a lot, but it's fine.
Okay.
But the biggest draw for me was the combat.
Okay.
It feels really good.
Okay.
It's kind of like a Diablo 3 style combat system. Because you're point and click, not WASD.
Oh, okay.
So you click to move or you click to attack, and then you have your abilities, which are QWER and ASDF.
Okay.
And so
gotcha.
That's kind of the setup. But you have a bunch of abilities you can use, and then you can level those abilities up.
Okay.
And you get so if you're doing it, you get all right, my first ability, you can level it up to level 10, and it gets 3 different ways you can change how the ability works at level 4, 7, and 10. So it both changes the functionality and the look of the skill.
Okay.
So perhaps at level 4 it'll change, you can change the element of the skill and do different things based on that. Then 7th will change something else about it, and then the 10th one will be 2 choices between A or B, and you can pick those. So 2 people playing the same class with the same skill can have completely different ways their skill functions.
I see.
One of my skills in the current class is the first ability I took was increases my critical strike by 15% with that ability, and then the second one I took was increase the critical damage by 50% with the ability. It was okay, I guess I'm going crit heavy on it, so that's cool. So the combat's really cool. There's a lot of abilities. You can swap them out on the fly, and you can have up to 10 preset skill configurations. So you can be alright, here's solo, here's one for AoE, here's one for debuffs, here's one for all crits. You can do a lot. I have not even made a second one yet because I'm just doing solo content. You know, I'm just playing by myself.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a lot there.
Okay. That's good, just because I was something. I'm not a real big fan of the actual like having to deal with people part of MMOs.
Oh,
so
here's a great part that both me and my friend that has been playing both really love is that dungeons. You can matchmake them pretty easily, but they are all soloable.
Oh, okay. Great.
So you do not have to play with another person if you don't want to for a lot of the content.
Excellent. My favorite point of an online RPG is
the best part of the
having...
experience is playing alone.
It's playing alone, yeah.
The dungeon design is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like does have a little bit of cinematic type stuff with events and things that go on in it, and so it has a lot of exploration. There's hidden areas that aren't on the mini map or the map of the dungeon at all.
Oh, sure.
So like you can just kind of be like, oh hey, it looks like there's an opening there, and wander off, and then you're suddenly off the map in a part of the dungeon that doesn't exist. And usually there's collectibles to find in there. The game constantly assaults you with achievements.
Great.
Which is a free-to-play thing that they do to keep you hooked. It's the, numbers go up, there's gratification.
Get a little dopamine going on.
Get that dopamine. It's fine. It's whatever. So dungeons are all soloable. Okay. There's thousands of collectibles you can get. Each different area of the map you have has, like each continent has a bunch of collectibles you can find to get the area completion from like 0 to 100. And you get rewards for every 10% of that you get.
Oh no.
So it's like, hey, find all of the things, and a lot of them are hidden. Which is, again, if you like exploration, finding that stuff, that's great.
Yeah.
If you're a completionist, you're gonna have a bit of a field trip.
So this is like Where's Waldo, the MMO.
Yeah, a lot of these things do not show up. It's like you just kind of wander and see something on the ground that doesn't have any like graphic or anything.
Oh, great.
Like there's a thing on the ground, but it doesn't light up at you.
Yeah.
So you walk over and it's like, oh yeah, investigate that.
Well,
you do.
You know, hidden item games are actually incredibly popular themselves, so, you know, it's got some...
So one of the things you do is it'll be like, investigate this thing, and it'll come up with a pop-up that's got like text in it, and then let's like, yeah, this is 1 of 4, go find the other 4, and this is where the second one is, like, here's a small hint. And it's not very, like... It doesn't tell you, it doesn't show you on the map. You have to find it. You use the description to try to find it, which is cool. I enjoy that type of thing.
Sure.
Because it makes you think, it makes you explore, and it doesn't tell you where it is. You can look up guides, obviously, but it's no fun. Right. So that's cool. I will say, one of the things I don't like is the loot tables seem to be very limited.
Okay. Something that I noticed in other MMOs and a lot of the online games is that there gets to be a point where the loot... They get very stingy with what they're giving, and, like, things start to become very samey. I've had experiences where finding a legendary, a masterwork, or anything that's even different than the variants that I've had before is just non-existent. Good luck.
Yeah, so I'll be in an area and I'll be just killing tons of monsters, whatever, because you brutalize a lot of them. It's fun.
Sure.
And I'll get drops, green drops, blue drops, whatever, purple drops occasionally. And the purple ones are usually maybe the same or better, but it seems to be a lot of the same stuff. So like I'll be in the area and I'll get like 4 or 5 drops for pants.
All the pants.
All the pants just drop.
Great, just all pants. Oops, all pants.
But they'll all be like the same exact pair of pants. There's no visual difference, and there's no stat difference or name difference.
No.
So it's a lot of the same drops in the same area, and I don't really like that because it's like, give me a random drop, please.
They were
I think
having
later-
a run on the magic pants.
Yeah. So I think later on in dungeons and the raids and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they'll be a bit different. But while you're leveling, it's kind of like, all right, I already have this pair of pants. I'm
Mhm.
wearing this. This is no different.
Sure.
Or then you'll do a dungeon. It's like, oh, cool, I dropped a pair of pants. And it's like, oh, it's just the same pair of pants.
You know what they need in Lost Ark is they need like a profession where you can just run a thrift shop.
Yeah.
And so the whole point is that you're getting multiple copies of the same thing so that you can just fill out a storefront. It will be like Moonlighter.
Yeah, it'll be like
You
Moonlighter.
just have Moonlighter, but in the Lost
Yeah.
Ark game.
So that's one thing I don't really care about, but you can just salvage it all. You can salvage it and then sell the spare parts that you get for money.
Sure.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
My friend reached level 50, and that is this kind of like a soft cap. So the game's max is apparently level 60.
Okay.
But once you hit level 50,
Yeah.
it's a grind. It's a grind.
Okay.
Like, it slows down a whole lot, and I guess it's like people were saying months of time
Oh.
spent playing. Like, real time spent playing, months of it.
Okay. Yeah. No.
So it's a grind.
Yeah. Not loving that. No. Months to get to level 60 or just like level 51 and then months to get
probably
to
level 60.
Okay.
It's a grind. But I
Okay.
don't know what you get for getting to 60.
Sure.
So that's interesting.
A life maybe. That'd be
Maybe.
great. But
I don't know.
Yeah. yeah. But so if it's sort of like an extended tutorial that gets you to 40 and then you have like a soft cap at 50, the game kind of opens up basically between levels 40 and 50 before
opens
it
up a
becomes
lot because
tenuous.
after you hit about 40,
Okay.
you get to the end of the story on the continent you're on, and you get a boat.
You're on a boat?
You're on a boat.
Yeah.
You get a boat and a crew, and you can go sailing on the open seas.
I get my flippy floppies.
So you go like there are islands you can visit that are you basically travel on the overworld, but you're on a boat.
Okay.
You have a stronghold you get where you can
Great.
customize that. You can do research and send out parties on boats to do missions, and you can
Okay.
craft items. If you're familiar with the garrisons in World of Warcraft at all, which I don't think you are, but if anyone else is, it's similar to that. You can kind of craft items, place them. You can make it look how you want. You can place just items that are to make it look cool, or how that might have function on your islands, and make your island have slightly different functions.
Sure.
But that's your stronghold. You can teleport to it whenever. All of your characters are on a roster.
Okay.
So one of the things you do is the game encourages you to have multiple characters. So you have a roster, and from achievements and other stuff, you gain XP to the roster, and every time it levels, you gain bonuses to all your party members in the form of like strength, dex, intellect, and vitality.
Okay.
So my roster is like to level 25. If I make a new character, they've already got a ton of bonuses to their stats. So it really helps that out.
Okay.
But your stronghold is shared. All your trade skills are shared between your characters, which is nice. You don't have to level those up separately.
Sure.
Trade is weird because you've got an energy bar.
Certainly.
Which again, some of the mechanics that are kind of the pay-to-win ones are, all right, well, you've got like 1,000 or 10,000 energy, and once you use it all, it replenishes at a much slower rate than you spend it.
Sure.
That's a time-gatey thing.
Got it.
So you can obviously probably spend money on the in-game shop to get items to help replenish it faster. It's kind of like when people were playing Farmville, you know, and spending money on items to make their crops grow faster in Farmville.
Yeah, remember Farmville?
No.
Yeah.
Did you know they made a second one?
Was it called Farmville 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. Yes.
so aside from the time gates, aside from some of the pay-to-win functionality,
Yeah.
the combat is great. The skills, the style feels awesome when you're playing. Like I was saying when I was playing it, like even 20 hours in, I was like, if the combat in this game was not as fun as it is, I would not be playing.
Right. Right.
Because the story
Mm-hmm.
is pretty much dog shit.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very much, it's very cringy in a lot of places. It's very
Oh.
much the. Oh, okay.
Do you have to
it's like
save the world from something big and evil?
demons and stuff. Yeah.
You have to save it from.
You're
a
the chosen
demon?
one.
Of course, you're the chosen.
You're
You
the
and
chosen
every
one.
other player that happens to be playing, you're all the chosen
Yeah.
one simultaneously. Yeah.
It's a little weird. The story's kind of weird, and then like there's this priest. Like you start the tutorial, and I'm like, oh, that guy's gonna be the bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
and oh, lo and behold, this guy's the bad guy.
I love the obvious bad guys.
Very obvious. And then like you get a priest you're hanging out with for a bit, and there's a couple like Deus Ex Machinas there where he saves you, even though I'm like, dude, I got this.
Yeah.
And it turns out, spoiler, not that the story's any good. Turns out he's like half demon, which is fine because my demon hunter is too.
Right.
As my friend that's also playing, it was like there's a lot of scenes where there's just the two people pushing energy beams at each other and grunting. If you're familiar with that trope.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of that.
This isn't even my final form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for people who are out there who might be interested in playing Lost Ark, how long do you think it really takes to determine if this is going to be a game you enjoy or not? How long did it take you to really make a determination?
I would say 5 or 6 hours, maybe.
Okay. So
like this story.
Yeah.
Like once you get through the tutorial,
yeah,
it's cool. The tutorial isn't bad. It teaches you the combat and stuff really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you liked Diablo style
Sure.
combat games, but also enjoy really nice visual flair and style and fluid combat
Yeah.
in a game, you'll probably enjoy it.
Okay. Okay.
If you value the story in a game, you're not gonna enjoy it unless you like really anime plots.
Yeah, I mean, I will usually take gameplay over story anyway because it's the thing I'm playing a game for. But I usually I like the story to be competent and not necessary, and not the story like from the way you describe it. I pretty much know the story already.
Well, okay, so the story, like the main story, is kind of like there's a lot of going on, but there's also other parts that are just really weird. A part I just got to on the first island I went to is like with these little tiny like leaf people. Saving
Pikmin.
them from pirates and stuff.
Yep.
Kinda, sure. And then at one point I get shrunken down
Oh,
to their size.
okay, this is cool.
And going through it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. And you get like a small ladybug mount to ride.
Oh, okay, this is great.
Because you can't ride your normal mount.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, here's like, thanks for helping us. Here's something you can use to ride around. You get to pick a yellow, red, or blue ladybug.
Excellent.
So I'm riding around on a yellow ladybug. And then the dungeon part, the scenario. It's not necessarily a dungeon because it's solo.
Sure.
It's a scenario that's like a dungeon. It's a sequence of events with story. That scenario, I come out on this, I'm looking at these people, and then suddenly I'm on their table just this small.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so it's really weird, like Alice in Wonderland kind of thing.
Yeah.
They throw you in a cage because they're like, oh, you're a spy, and then you break out of the cage, obviously. You fight some ants or spiders and things.
Nice.
Couple birds come at you that are really big because you are small.
Okay.
And the end boss of that was a parrot with a pirate hat on it.
Okay.
And I'm like,
now I'm on board.
I'm like,
again.
yeah, no, it's like the story
All of a
is.
sudden, you're like, wow.
The story with the priest is really boring, and then the kingdom that you're helping save is kind of like really bland.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, but I just fought a pirate parrot
Yeah.
as a mini person.
All of a sudden, this is great again.
It's like Grounded, except
Yeah.
better.
I liked Grounded, but it needed I hope one day it will have enough content. It was kind of like
So yeah, it's mixed, but again, combat is great. The fluidity and the different skills you can have are really great,
yeah.
and that's a really nice feeling. Again,
Sure.
if the combat wasn't nearly as good as it was, I wouldn't have been playing
Yeah.
so.
If they included more of those like shrunk down and ride a ladybug moments, I think I would be more engaged with this.
And I mean, the
formula.
story like the worst, but like a lot of the beats are just kind of I haven't read like any of the story. I'm not engaged at all with the story.
Right.
I'm just kind of skipping through the dialogue and just kind of going. I'm like, what's my objective? I'm not reading it. I don't care.
Yeah. The best part is the environmental storytelling where you get to shrink down and fight a parrot. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Anyways, yeah. If you want to check out Lost Ark, it's free. Go for it. If you don't like lots of collectibles being in your base all the time, and if you're a completionist, maybe avoid it.
Yeah. Don't buy Ubisoft games if you don't like that, because
This has more collectibles than Ubisoft games.
oh boy, someone is gonna like hearing that. Though.
So there are seeds I can collect. They're hidden all throughout the different things. They're little seeds, and you can find them on the ground or in places everywhere. Some are more obviously hidden. Some are underneath things, and you barely see it until you walk on top of it, and it tells you there's a seed there.
Right.
It tells you to investigate it. There's over 1,200 of those in the game. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
And that's only one of the collectibles.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, hey, I guess our biggest endorsement is Lost Ark. Collect seeds.
And open seas.
In open seas. Collect the seeds on the open seas. Open seeds.
Open seeds.
Open seeds. It's like Grounded, but with 500,000 of your best friends. You and the 500,000 other chosen ones go on a quest against the evil priest. Excellent. Thank you for letting me know, because, I don't know, I might check it out at some point, just because I've heard a lot about it.
You might enjoy the combat.
I might enjoy the combat. I'm not a big MMO fan, but who knows? Maybe I'll like this.
The good news is you can solo pretty much everything.
Also like that, because, again, I don't like to play with people.
Right.
In games. Well, I mean in general, but also in... That was a good segment. Let's just move on.